Banishing Demons. Austin, 2010. Right before my oldest, Roma, was shipped off to Afghanistan, he wanted reconciliation with his mother, but she just rolled up the car window in his face and drove off. It's the last time he's ever spoken to her. Austin, 2019. On Halloween, Tosha, my youngest, told his mother that he's suicidal and desperately needed to retrace all the abuse that he'd experienced in her house. And her response?
That's just your father talking. Never call me again and return that college money I gave you.
To this day, she still lingers on her outer fringes, expecting our sons to come crawling back to her with love for Mamichka. And she continues to punish me for the sins that she cold-bloodedly committed against them because she falsely believes I turned them against her. That was her first ex that did that. A whole nother sordid affair. So how do I finally banish that demon? No, I have no doubt she is one. A demon bent on harming me by means of destroying our youngest son, Tosha.
If he kills himself, it's all on you, then.
Our nightmare intensified in 2008 after our divorce, and my current solution is as cold as it can get, especially for a once beloved mother and wife who is either possessed by a demon or is one herself. We have all experienced her as an extremely toxic force, so the only solution we've come up with is banishment from our lives. There's a cruel part of me that wishes to cast her into utter nothingness for all her abuse. Would such an act be justified? I'm not sure, but that image satisfies my desire for retribution. San Antonio, 1999. Our nightmare once again escalated. We had purchased a new home that looked suspiciously like the Amityville Horror House. 2 quarter-round eye sockets staring out at anyone who dared approach the blood-red front door. It's no wonder she, a self-proclaimed devil, had selected it.
I will always be your devil den.
There's this famous scene in Lord of the Rings.
They've got a cave troll.
This is a woman who, with her new rageaholic troll of a husband, had hung a shredded and bloody Jesus effigy upside down on a cross on their kitchen pantry door. Truly appetizing artwork.
What do you think of this piece, then?
I was stunned. In fact, she had turned the entire house into a medieval dungeon full of grotesque statues and seedy sexual caricatures. She had rendered images of her naked body into perverted forms such as gargoyles, succubi, and prostitutes. In 2015, Tosha was so horrified that he begged me to rescue him from that haunted castle. "Dad, I can't take it anymore here. I'm terrified." So I moved to Austin that year. Being my devil was the only promise she had ever kept. How lucky I am. How lucky we all are. Maybe I should have recognized the perversions in her from the start, all the way back in Russia in 1992 when we met romantically.
I'm divorced, Dan.
That was her or lie in an endless string of lies, deceptions, and criminal acts that she implicated me in. I was lucky not to get imprisoned for many years in one of those horrible Russian prisons. In the year 2000, I was slowly becoming aware that something evil had accompanied her into our new home, and it immediately began clawing away at her insides. She had this recurring nightmare that a male shadow figure wearing a hat and a trench coat would linger in the far corner of the bedroom and summon her. Then he would effortlessly whisk her petrified form across the room as if she were a rag doll. I had awoken to her cries many a night to hear her recount night terror or whatever it is. Then I too began to sense a growing presence in the bedroom walk-in closet. I couldn't walk into that pulsating space without turning on the lights, even at midday. Yet even after she had abandoned me and Tosha for another man in 2007, my loved ones kept getting victimized by feelings of impending dread. My girlfriend at the time and future second ex-wife, who had no inkling of what had happened in that house, used to stay with me on the weekends. For a while, nothing happened. Then, one horrifying night, I heard this awful scream. Have you ever heard a rabbit scream? That high-pitched shriek catapulted me out of the bed into a taekwondo fighting pose. Blankets were strewn all the way across the room. I was cold and trembling all over as I witnessed her sobbing and thrashing in her sleep. I walked over to her and gently woke her up. She started spouting, "There was a black shape hovering over me. An arm with needles for fingers was coming down towards me. It wanted to steal my love." I gradually calmed her down, but that presence seemed to grow stronger in that closet. In 2011, she broke up with me for a year because she couldn't handle the level of grotesque violence that was being directed at us by my ex. She was actively bent on destroying any of my future relationships and had succeeded twice already. San Antonio, 2009. One night, a 9-year-old Tosha was sleeping upstairs on my bed because he desperately needed me near him after his mother had left us. I had the most surreal experience of my life that late night. As I was sitting at the bottom of the stairs, I felt this tingly energy emanating from my upper back. The heat and the energy kept expanding upwards. I had no idea what was happening, but I did know Tosha was sleeping alone near that awful closet. What was emerging from my upper back felt like 2 claws at first, yet they kept expanding upwards and outwards in the shape of large hands. I suddenly realized that 2 giant wings were sprouting out of me, so I felt compelled to call a very spiritual friend of mine in Los Angeles. "Yegor, I don't understand what's happening. I've got 2 wings sprouting out of my back. They feel like angel wings. What should I do?" "Nie sопроtивляйся. Pust это произойдет." Don't resist. Just let it happen. That was it. Nothing more. So I let it happen. And I intuited that the demonic threat had triggered a powerful response in my spirit so that I could protect my vulnerable son. I ascended the stairs with a clear purpose and went straight back to the threshold of that pitch-black, pulsating darkness. A flicker of a thought disturbed me for an instant. I gotta turn my back on this eerie threshold and seal it shut with my wings. I had never dared before to approach that dark closet with my back turned, but for my son, I would do anything. Death or possession meant nothing to me if he was at risk. So I turned my back to it and sealed it with the electrified wings while chanting, "You, demon, may never again abide in this closet, nor enter any part of this house. You have no place here." I stood there for about 10 seconds to finish the seal. They were some of the most grueling moments of my life. However, this demon would seek new avenues of terror, just never again in that house. It returned, I believe, to where it felt at home, to my ex and her violent husband, where Tosha also lived. In 2023, Tosha got this large tattoo on his arm of a demonic jester with large black eyes playing chess with his raggedy puppet-like body. Both the symbolism and analogy to his mother are very clear. He has told me that he was terrified of his mother because her eyes dilated to pure blackness whenever she would seethe. He had this recurring nightmare of 2 obsidian-eyed demons, one male, one female, doing a living autopsy on him as he lay helplessly on the morgue slab. They harvested one organ at a time while he laid there frozen in a catatonic state. I can't imagine a worse dream to have, especially about his mother and stepfather. Since his first major depressive suicidal episode in 2016, I've attempted to exorcise these demons from his being through somatic experiencing therapy, psilocybin therapy, shamanic interventions, traveling to Oregon to see him regularly, intense conversations, music and poetry, and following him down into his labyrinth of suicidal thoughts without fear or judgment. My best cure has been pure presence. It can be so powerfully healing for human beings. Yet this particular demon continues to saddle him and call him to his early death. It's truly amazing he hasn't killed himself after 8 long years of misery. He has such fortitude and beauty within him. He would be the angel without the burden of such darkness. Yet the battle rages on. In 2020, I had made the mistake of asking his mother for help in order to prevent his suicide.
His blood will be in your hands, so you deal with it, Dan.
The only answer I have to such vehemence is silence. To give her absolutely nothing to grasp onto. She still sends me death wishes by text, but my answer remains pervasive silence. My sons have come up with the same resolution without me saying a word to them, even though she believes I am the cause of them banishing her from their lives. We never want to talk or see her again, Dad. The hollow nature of a demon is unreflected in those dilated pupils, an endless vacuum sucking in its ever-receding life form. Its ultimate terror is the endless, nihilistic pit of nothingness, an absolute severing from all relationships. I'm deeply concerned that she'll fight me to the end of our days to avoid being completely banished to that pit. Yet all 3 of us, Roma, Tosha, and I, have come up with no other solution. We banish the demon that once upon a time banished us, one that we believe must have loved us once, yet now completely denies it and is filled with bitter bile and desire for vengeance. My wish? Let her fade away quietly and never return.